Hello, and welcome to Heart to Art, a space where we explore powerful stories that reflect, challenge, and inspire. Today's episode is a very special one. For the very first time, we're diving into the world of film, and not just any film, but a bold and thought provoking short film that tackles mental health in a way that feels deeply personal, but also universally important. Our guest is the incredibly talented Deepa Mahanti, a writer, director of short films and documentaries. Deepa uses film not just to entertain, but as a tool for transformation, a way to spark dialogue, shift perspectives, and bring about real positive change in our communities. Her latest short film, Saanvi, was recently premiered at the Niagara, Canada International Film Festival, and it's already making waves for its honest portrayal of mental health in the South Asian community. And we also have with us, I'm so happy to say, one of the actors from the film, Rahul Jain. He's an actor, writer, technology professional, and entrepreneur. We'll be talking about the film, the creative process, and why telling mental health stories is more urgent than ever. Stay with us. You don't want to miss this conversation. Welcome, Deepa and Rahul. I'm so excited that you're here with us today.
Thank you so much for having us, Peta-Gaye.
So, I want to start with, for the viewers, what this film begins with. So, it begins with an angry, grieving narrator, a father-in-law, sorry, who is saying horrendous things about his daughter-in-law. He's calling her a dirty piece of garbage, a barren bitch, a pig's offspring, an opportunist, and he's accusing her of having a petty little salary, of sleeping with all her sleeping with all her friends, and also saying that a man can go and do anything he desires. And in the background, of course, we see the character Saanvi. So, what inspired you to write this film, but also this very artistic way of the beginning of the film?
So this question, I presume, is for me, right?
Yes.
Okay, so we have silent stories in our community that go unnoticed, and some of them are literally suffering as they speak. So bringing the very raw and authentic viewpoint of many who are on the crossroads and who want to go the other route, this is their voice. And this happens. It's not that, it's a fiction, it's a fact. There has been a lot of research around it. And it's a proven fact that many a times there are stories that is kind of normal in certain cultures or households. So we took it as a privilege and an opportunity to bring it in front of the viewers so that it kind of ignites that positive thoughts as to, is this something, a tradition? Is it a culture? Is it how it's treated? Is it something that needs to be changed? So what you see could be, a traditional father-in-law at the loss of his son feels that this young widow is the root cause of it. So it's a sense of frustration, it's a sense of anger, and the state of vulnerability too. So this is a female, a young widow, and let's just vent her anger on this poor vulnerable thing because there's nobody else for her to protect her from. So we are in a very patriarchal society. This is what the portrayal is all about.
Yes, I actually taught the South Asian community for about 15 years. So I'm so well acquainted with their very different stories. And I love how the film shows so much beauty about the South Asian culture, but also the ugliness that we have in all cultures. And any culture has its beauty and its horror. but you've chosen to be brave and really show this. What are you hoping this film will do? Both, well, let's start with you, Deepa, and then we'll go to you, Rahul. What kind of change and hope do you want this film to inspire in your community and the rest of the world as well who's watching?
Change, right? Tradition is good, but it needs to be reevaluated. Cultures are beautiful, but as you rightly said, it's got vices attached to it. So it's important for us to reflect and dive deep and see what are the changes required, because through a visual and digital landscape, I feel people can emote, and also resonate to certain feelings that happen. So it's not my voice, it's the voice of many who want to be heard. So definitely we are in 2025, and I can brightly say as I speak, nothing has changed. I just been to India this January. So 2025, and we are in June 2025. And I speak with conviction that this is still happening, and it needs to be reevaluated by what we call the educated mass and the well-aware class. And we need to kind of pull ourselves together and perhaps raise a voice just for awareness and change, right? So it's just not, I put it this way, it's not like I'm not kind of telling everybody to do what I want. I just want them to reflect on what's happening. So this is why.
And Rahul, what about you? You're a South Asian male. How do you feel about this change? Is there a part of you that doesn't want this change because a man is in power in your culture?
Well, I would not say so. I slightly have a different perspective, though I agree with bringing in the change. So I think like in every society, there are pros and cons, right? Like something works in your favor, something works against you, right? Like the entire concept of feminism to like other concepts, they have evolved across. It's not just happening in India, or it's not just happening in the US or Canada. I would say that it's more about the vulnerability. For me, the biggest change that I see coming from this project is not to create awareness in the minds of people to not cause any harm, but I would say that it's more about creating a change for people to fight back, right? I think the moment you have the capability to fight back, to not accept what's wrong, you are in a position to do good to you, right? So I think you will come across people who are there to take you down, right? But unless you yourself understand that you're vulnerable, and there's a need for you to fight back and understand your strength, and then look beyond what you're suffering from, the change will not really take place. So for me, that's the biggest takeaway from this project, and it's been a fantastic experience on that front.
You know who I really resonated with in this film? When I say resonate, I felt the pain of Saanvi's mother. So, just to give everyone listening some context, Saanvi has become recently widowed. Rahul, you played the husband, and the father in law is grieving, but he's also taken the part of the evil mother in law. And, he's just hurling this abuse at Saanvi, who goes into a deep mental health crisis. But what really got me was her own mother saying, I've asked this father in law to keep you. I cannot do anything to help you anymore. Consider me dead. Um, I'm living with another family member. They have their families to think about. And she's basically distancing herself from her daughter, but not in a way that, I don't want that to sound like she's distancing herself. She is feeling a lot of pain because she herself had dropped out of teachers college. She herself is a widow, and it just sort of goes down the line, right? Without the education of women, without the empowerment of women. So I felt the pain in the mother-in-law's voice. Why did you decide to include that aspect? You show many aspects, but I love that you showed this aspect as well.
So the idea of being voicelessness. You are vulnerable until I resonate with what Rahul said. Unless you have a voice, nothing can change. It has to be inside out. So we did portray Saanvi for sure, but you are right. Absolutely. I'm so glad that you picked it up. So there is this individual, her own mother, telling her that I can't be of any help. You can't, extend your hand, though I know you are in pain, but this is her helplessness because she herself is in a very vulnerable position. And many a times, again, it's a cycle, right? So if
Mhm.
something like what we have lived, we would often, feel that this is a tradition or this is the normal life or this is the culture and this is how it is to be.
Mhm.
So considering Sanvi's mom, I know she must be in pain because she's a mother.
Yes.
However, she has to abide by the societal norms, as I call it, or cultural norms. So this is what they expected of a widow to live this way, right? So,
Yeah, why are these norms so strong? It just, I remember when I was teaching the South Asian community, I wanted to say to the women, fight back. You're in Canada now, you can fight back. But there is just a hold, a cultural hold over women.
I say it's stigma, right? So if you fight back, it's stigma. If you're divorced, it's stigma. If you're a single woman, it's stigma. If you're widowed, it's stigma. Because we feel that you need to be protected by a man. And this is how, it goes, the family honor. Many a times you would, read news saying that da-da-da was killed because of family honor, or this person did not have a proper wedding because of intercaste marriages. So casteism is also prevalent as I speak, right? So it's just not vulnerability is a casteism. The other layer is a religion. The other layer is household honor. The other layer is we are in a patriarchal society, and the other layer is gender inequality, and it goes on and on and on. So we are not talking about one layer. There's so many layers to break. Question is, are you brave enough to even go one step further to break that ceiling is the question, right? So we are talking, and I could talk and talk and talk about how many layers are we rightfully suffering at this age in 2025, and
Yeah.
that needs to break. Somebody has to voice it or say, no, I'm not living this life.
So true. I don't know if anyone has said, Deepa, that they're proud of you for making this film. I don't know if anyone in your community or family has said that, but I'm really proud that you had the courage to put this out there and to begin breaking these barriers, because you're right, they need to be broken. And I also love that you put different races in this film. I love that it was a Black woman who helped Saanvi. And the reason why I say that is because there is such a stereotype in this country of the Black person being, I don't know, the drug addict, the thief, aggressive, angry, unapproachable. What made you do this?
I tell you, I have the best of friends I can count on who are from our Black Canadians. So one needs to, and I often say this analogy to others, saying that you need to, you would know the depth of the ocean when you're in the ocean. You can't know the depth of the ocean when you're standing at the shore. So similarly, I am associated with whatever community work I do to various different environments and ethnicities. I have worked with them. I have, and you know a lot when you work with individuals on a consistent basis, how they treat you, how, what's in their mind, right? So, and it's not one day, it's over and over and over the years. So yes, this is called biases again. So when we are talking about a certain ethnicity that is connected to certain series of things that happen in the community, so instantly in our mind, oh, it must be a certain community, but it's not so. It's that very person. So bringing a certain diversity into life, because this is in Canada, we are multicultural, we are multi-flavored, and we belong to a community that is not constrained just to South Asian, but various different ethnicities. So, there are instances. I was in Safe City, Mississauga. I worked with Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Canada and Moyo Health Services and so forth. And we have literally worked in the grassroots. I know what it means, seeing a life in a condition, or in a vulnerable condition. How people come together to save it, right? Yes. So I thought it could be a good instance to bring some color and a flavor to what we are creating.
I love that. And it's true that the only way we crush our own biases is to learn about other people, learn about other cultures, and hear their story. So moving on to something much lighter, Rahul, how does a technology professional get into acting?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think, like, though I've spent a decade in technology, I've always been an actor at heart. So I ventured into this space when I was just pursuing my engineering. And when I got to know about this project from Deepa, I was kind of impressed with the message that she wanted to propagate to people. And having experienced, like, being from the South Asian background, having experienced these scenarios a number of times, though I wouldn't like to stereotype any community by saying that it's a norm, but I know, like, these cases, they keep cropping up. I felt that like we need to step out of a comfort zone to drive that change, right, in whatever way we can. And this sounded like a great opportunity, and when I was talking to Deepa, I was not even expecting to be a part of this project. I was like, let me just experiment, let me just understand. And then I got so passionately involved, and I got so inclined towards being a part of it. uh, and I'm really happy about it, because I think, as she has just pointed out, that, like, the message that we have been trying to communicate to the masses here is plain and simple, right? Like, like, accept those challenges and overcome them. You have all the strength in you to drive that change. So for me, being a technology guy, or any other guy, it just did not make any difference. I just wanted to be that contributing factor to this beautiful project.
I love that, because so many of us here in this North American culture, work becomes everything for us. And you're showing the community that no, you can have outside hobbies and you can do different things, and you can be scientifically minded as well as arts minded. You can marry those two things, which, I don't know, art is so important. Another thing that you incorporated into this film is sign language. Why was this so important for you to do?
Well, many a times you are in a situation where you cannot ask for help through voice. So when I say voice, as in voice talk, okay? So sign language is an important way to express what a stage are you in, what vulnerability are you in, and what do you need. There are certain settings that do not you can't hear voices. Example, a glass door. You can't hear voices. So if somebody is trapped in a glass door and they show sign language, the other person, the onlooker, understands that the person needs help. So this is, we want to propagate sign language. We want people to learn and say, okay, these are certain sign languages that should be in your toolbox. You never know, right? That is one of the safety tools you can actually learn and use when you are going on, wherever you have to, right? So therefore, I thought this American Sign Language is a major component that could be, it's actually underscored. Very few people understand that this is so important in our lives, and that just learning basic could actually save life, as it did for Saanvi.
Yes, just a basic sign for help.
Help.
Help, yes. Let's go to mental health. I know in many cultures, this is just a big no-no for therapy. I know even in my culture, to seek therapy means you're weak, or I don't know, it's just there, it's stigmatized as well. But it was at the forefront of this film. What are you hoping to do with this? What are you hoping to achieve? Sorry. Sanvi gets therapy. She's actually transformed by therapy. I love that. Are you hoping that your community will see this and say, I'm in the same position? Maybe this can help me too, even though it will be frowned upon by everybody else?
Absolutely. Right? We need help. When we need help, we need help, right? So therapy is a great way of just expressing yourself to somebody who is not judgmental, who is not biased, who is has a listening ear, and a person understands where you're coming from, and there could be some sort of a connection between the two. It's more of getting to know each other, and more of that, instead of a professional, it could be a friendship zone too. At the end of it is, I have worked with various psychotherapists in my past projects. And one of the conversations is that, yes, sometimes mental health is genetic, but many a times it is environmental. So emotional abuse, psychological abuse, severe stress, financial stress, right? Lack of freedom, and I can go on and on. Cultural biases, inequality, right? Then abuse. It can go on, and it doesn't happen overnight. It's over and over the time it happens. So this short film is a call to people that if you think that you need somebody to be there for you and listen through all you have done or gone, and help you or give you extended hand to grow out of it, go for it. There's nothing that would stop you from doing so, but then again, you need your internal strength to do so. It's you who make the call.
What do you think, Rahul? Do you think that therapy could be something that even the males in South Asia will one day say, well, yes, I need therapy and it's not a big deal. I'm going to be helped by this. Or do you think not yet?
Well, I think that's a good point. The biggest factor that I've seen with such people is acceptance, right? Like people don't want to accept that they need therapy or something can change in their life. So, like if you bring up that subject primarily in South Asia, there's a reluctance to accept. It's like, hey, are you saying that I'm crazy? Are you saying that something is wrong with me? And I think it's not about pinpointing that someone is crazy. It's more about helping them understand that not everything can be solved by just like thinking good. Like sometimes you need to consult specialists who can help understand your situation better, and make you think rationally about your life situation and be more pragmatic about it. So I think it's really important to be able to drive people to accept that they might need therapy to come out of the depressions or their biases in life.
You're so right. If only everyone thought like this, and it's not about being crazy. It's about learning to think with a different lens so that you are able to see more clearly or have another perspective. You're so right about that. That's why this film is so great, because it transcends South Asian culture and goes across many cultures. So where can people see Sanvi?
So we will be screening shortly in Peel, sometime in September. And obviously, We will extend the invitation to all in Mississauga Arts Council. Ever so grateful, and love to have you there too. So yeah, we will have a screening sometime in September, I believe. And yeah, people can join us and have some positive conversations and dialogues around it.
Yeah, this film opens up a lot of conversations that need to be had by all communities. So, what is next for you, Rahul?
Well, right now I'm like excited about the launch. I would love to see some change happening. I'm working on other projects as well, but it's
Mm.
too early to comment on them. Yeah, I think what has really happened in the past 1 year, especially after joining Saanvi, is like there's a bigger goal in place now, right? Like I want to uh, be a part of more such projects and potentially drive that change. So that's really good that has happened.
That is amazing. Your community needs you, Ontario, Canada needs you. And Deepa, what about you? What's next for you? What other things are you working on?
Well, at this point in time, my focus is this one. Some change happening because many a times our projects are taken as references for white papers for in academia as well. So I'm hoping that it gets picks up for some dissertation of professionals who are on the verge of being mental health professionals. I actually got a call from somebody in India who lives in Canada, and she's visiting in July, and she wants to meet me because she wants to understand, I would say, nature of Saanvi and the different angles related to mental health, which is, I think, a great start. So I feel that, yeah, we are on the realm, we are on the go, and hopefully we create some more heart crunching projects that are difficult to swallow, but then the environment needs a change. So hopefully we will, so many stories. Every day I tell you, I get so many stories. And it's so difficult to answer, so difficult to relate, so difficult to listen, because as a human being, how much can you do? But of course, there needs a voice that needs to be heard. Yeah.
Yes, and I hope, the public can watch this film and get so much out of it. Let's go to the filmmaking process before we close, because I know that it can't be easy to make a film. I've seen a little bit of what goes into filmmaking and the money that it takes. How did you raise the money for this?
Well, then, that's a million-dollar question. So I'm very passionate about the community. I'm very passionate about people, lives, human beings' voice. So many times is self-produced. And people often say, again, you, right? I said, yes, because this is what I love doing. This is my art, my piece of art. And as people use brushes, ask the visual artist, how do you paint that piece of canvas? And they would say, oh, colors and brushes and, the mood, the storyboards, and it goes on and on. For me, this is a piece of art. And it's just not, and I would put it into perspective today, it's just not the wellness of others, but the wellness of myself too.
Mhm.
Because when I see a smile on somebody's face, or I see somebody just being listened to, and somebody being valued, and I hold that purpose in my thoughts, I think creating the film with every string of tapestry that goes into it, from the inception to the composition to the edition to the casting to, is a huge process, complex process.
It is.
Lot, yes. But then at the end, when, see, for example, perfect example, we are talking, we are having a conversation, and
Mhm.
that gives me immense pleasure. It's not about the credit, it's about the cause.
Mhm. And it's a good cause. Did you have a lot of help to do this? I mean, is it a one woman show, or do you hire others to bring all of this together?
So yes, we do have a technical team. We do have There's a lot of people to play, right? From the casting to the technology side to the technical side to the music side to the location side. Ask it. Multi-layered, multifaceted project. So it's like a piece of mosaic, right? You keep on putting each mosaic till you feel and find the full picture. So yes, lots of outsourcing, lots of connections, resources, communities. People help. Absolutely, people help. And this I can trace back to COVID times. People have opened their doors. People relate to you, and this is a beautiful community. People have to know how blessed we are, and I mean it with all my heart. Unconditional love. And people who have not tasted this piece, I urge them, I invite them, know people in and out. They will open doors and windows for you, provided this is for a purpose. So
It
I'm in a
is
very safe
about
space.
community. Yeah, it is all about community for sure. And if someone wanted to make a film, what advice would you give them? Because, a lot of people say, oh, I would love to make a movie one day. What would you say?
Listen to your heart. If the call is there and you're passionate and you're hardworking, you are good in having sleepless nights. You're good in having good relationships, right? Think beyond boundaries. Think deep, right? Have different lens. Have different perspectives. Absolutely, go for it.
Wow. Well, I can't thank you enough for spending this time with me this evening. It was amazing talking to you. You have produced something incredible, something that everybody should watch. I mean, we talk about Canada being diverse. Well, the first thing is to watch each other's films, listen to each other's music. It's really a way that we get to know each other on a deeper level, which is what.
Question, I would say, question is how deep can you go is the question, right? People make films fantastic, but I urge people to go deep and deep and deep to understand the other person's journey, right? And
Yes.
then create a tapestry of your own. And I tell you, we are all low budget films. Let me be honest. The only thing that strikes out is the raw and real lived experiences. That's the only thing that is the highlight, and the integrity that holds. So I'm very possessive. I will tell you, and I will tell in front of 1,000 people. If somebody shares the story, gosh, it's safe, treasured in my heart, and I will take it to my grave. At no circumstances I'm going to break the trust, because that individual trusted me in that moment of time, giving her piece of precious moments shared with me, right? And
Mm-hmm.
this is how we are creating the voice for others.
Yes.
So
Yes.
that's it.
And her story represents so many. And I love a short film. I know, and I love long films too, but there's a special place in my heart for the short story, as in writing, that genre, as well as the shorts, as in film. I love it because it gives such a solid message in a creative way. You've done a great job, Deepa. Rahul, pleasure meeting you. I know there's a lot of good ahead of you both.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much for your kind time, and thank you, for having us on your show.
Oh, it was my pleasure. And I cannot wait for September when you premiere in Peel. So I will meet you both in person then.
100%. I'm going to send you a special invite, and even Mike knows that I can't do anything without Mississauga Arts Council. So you're the hub to go to. So we
Yes, they
can't
are.
have a screening without you.
That's right. They really are. They've done so much for the arts in Mississauga, and we needed that.
Yeah, absolutely. And Peter, I would like to just add here.
Yes.
So Deepa was sharing her perspective of diving deep, right? As an actor, there's something that we did for this project. I think before you even act, what's really important for you is to understand what we are trying to portray, right? And you
Hmm.
can only do that when you can resonate the same feelings, right? Like unless you can visualize and you can experience that pain within, you're not able to do justice to your project. And I think one very interesting thing that we worked on as a team was that we spoke about that subject day in day out, right? Trying to understand that what goes within, like what goes in the mind of that person who's going through so much of suffering and pain, what goes into the mind of, like, let's say if I have portrayed the role of a husband, what goes into the mind of that person who is experiencing his own partner going through that pain, right? And I think that helped all of us extract our best in terms of what we wanted to drive. Not
Hmm.
sure if I'm able to use the right words to explain what I wanted to, but it's just about like understanding that subject so well that you do justice to the change that you want to drive.
I'm so glad that you added that and that you stepped in with that because it's so true. As an actor, you do have to feel the character, you have to know them inside out. And I should add here that I really loved how you portrayed that you were in love with Saanvi. You did a great job with that. The
Thank you.
dancing, the slow dancing, the movement of the material, down to the material that you both were wearing, that shiny, satiny outfit brushing against each other. I caught all of that. I saw it. I saw the expression on your faces, um, the text messages that you were sending each other, flirty, funny, cute, all driving towards showing that this was not just any relationship. It was a relationship where you were deeply in love with each other. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love movies. I mean, I'm a movie buff. I have to pull myself away from all kinds of movies just to get anything done. So it was a pleasure watching yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
I will see you soon. Thank you so much again for being here. It was great.
Thank you
Thank
so
you, Peter.
much, and you have a lovely, lovely evening.
Thank you. You too.